Welcome to today's channel. Israel War of Starvation. In Gaza, fleeing refugees face hunger and disease threat. No power supply, a looming food and water crisis, at least 1.8 million people displaced and over 18,000 killed as Israel strikes back. The Gaza Strip is living its worst nightmare. Our next report brings you more on the World Food Programme report that now reveals statistics of depleting basic requirements in the Gaza Strip as the war continues. Take a look. People are so hungry that they're breaking into warehouses to take whatever they can find. Families are using seawater to wash, and children continue to remain terrified of death and displacement. This is the fate and routine of Gaza citizens in the two-month-old war between Israel and Hamas as the cold sets and people living in the shadow of the conflict are witnessing nights getting darker than before. During last month's temporary pause and fighting, the World Food Programme conducted a rapid food assessment. The report concluded that the situation in Gaza was alarming. In a statement issued after a visit to Gaza, World Food Programme Deputy Executive Director said Gazatension simply not eating. About half of the population in Gaza are starving, and the needs that we are meeting is really nothing. The humanitarian operation is collapsing. With the chaos with this active fighting, it's not possible to do the work that is needed to meet these massive needs. According to the World Food Programme report, 83% of households in southern Gaza, which was earlier claimed to be a safe zone, has inadequate food consumption, with nearly 38% suffering from severe levels of hunger. Beyond the direct disruption and destruction of food systems due to the conflict, the limited flow of humanitarian aid and the complete halt of commercial goods have now severely affected the movement, and households has access to both food and nutritious supplies. In North Gaza, at least 9 out of 10 residents reported spending at least one full day and night without food, while among them nearly 18% experienced this more than 10 days in the past month. And in southern Gaza, 2 out of 3 reported spending at least one full day and night without food. Among them, 133% experienced this more than 10 days in the last months. Apart from the gruesome starvation conditions on the Gaza Strip, there is another basic necessity that the Palestinians are devoid of since the onset of the war. According to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, the number of displaced people has risen rapidly, and since the October attacks, over 1.9 million residents have been recorded displaced. There is too little aid and too many people, and that is breeding desperation with killing hunger and siege. People are seeing their children buried dead under the rubble, so as the chaos compounds the dangers from Israel's bombardment, making it even harder to deliver what little relief and aid there is. Bureau Report, WION World is. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.